Tonight in Y News, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. leads the launch of the government's super app, saying this would lessen corruption and boost economy. Justice Secretary Crispin Remulla reveals that the individuals accused in the Degamo slay case were allegedly offered 8 million pesos each to recant their previous statements. The Department of Health confirms that donated bivalent vaccines are expected to arrive in the country this month. And daily Russian missile strikes aimed in Ukraine continue to occur, resulting in a high number of casualties and injuries. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Friday, June 2, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Harleen Delgado. First in the news. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. led the launch of the eGov super application in Malacanang. PBBM said that the government must facilitate the rapid development of the country's interconnectivity infrastructure and digitalization to boost the economy and fight corruption. Nelma Buhok reports.
The Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, launched the eGov.ph super application, which is aimed at streamlining all government transactions and boosting the Marcos administration's digitalization efforts in the bureaucracy. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said maximizing the use of new technologies would also eliminate fixers who ask for money in exchange for facilitating transactions with government agencies.
There is no discretion being exercised by anyone. Eh, kung di mo ako lagyan, hindi ko ipapaano ito, hindi ko pa iipitin ko ito. Yung mga ganun. O kausapin mo yung si ganto ganyan, siya mag-aayos, yung fixer niya. Wala na yan, mawawala na yan.
The President also highlighted the importance of government partnership with the private sector for the successful implementation of the initiative and to ensure cybersecurity. PBBM stated that digitalization is not an option as it is something that needs to be done. He added that the Philippines has fallen behind in terms of digitalization.
They say 95% of their daily activities, the shopping, the paying, the bank, and even the payments to government, all 95% are done online. So ano yung 5%? Government. We cannot do it online with government. We have to go to the office. We have to collect the birth certificate, the documentation, the clearance, and then we go to the government, to the government office, and they say, you're missing one document. Balik na naman, and they do all of these things. So that just won't work.
Through the super app, Filipinos will be able to access and avail themselves of highly desirable government services, such as valid personal identification in digital format, essential day-to-day core government services, e-tourism, e-travel services, e-payments and banking services, and even useful news and information about various subjects. However, Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT Secretary Ivan Jan Uy stated that not all government agencies are yet connected to the application and they are working on it. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Days after both chambers of Congress agreed on its final version, a lawmaker is calling on President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to veto the controversial Maharlika Investment Fund bill. This report will tell us why. Senate Minority Leader Aquilino Coco Pimentel wants the Maharlika Investment Fund, or MIF bill, to be returned to Congress. This as he urges President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to veto the controversial measure, saying that the bill in its current form is unacceptable. The Senate leader believes both the Senate and the House failed to address the quote-unquote opaque provisions, contradictions, ambiguities, and loopholes of the bill. Earlier, Senator Francis Cheese Escudero called the duplicating provisions on the prescription prescription periods as a result of haste. Section 50 of the bill's third reading copy states that prescription of crimes is set to 10 years, while Section 51 states the prescription of offense is set to 20 years. Pimentel says returning the MIF bill to Congress will allow them to resolve conflicting provisions and add more safeguards to protect public funds. It has yet to be verified whether the enrolled bill of the MIF has been transmitted to the palace for President Marcos Jr.'s action. Maharlika Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God. The individuals accused in the killing of Negros Oriental Governor Degamo were allegedly offered 8 million pesos each to recant their previous statements over their participation in the crime. Dante Amento tells us why.
10 suspects in the high-profile murder case of Negros Oriental Governor Degamo recanted their previous sworn affidavits after they have been allegedly offered 8 million pesos each. Department of Justice Secretary Crispin Boyeng Remulla revealed this is based on the latest intelligence report.
Nahuli na nga si Marvin Miranda in a hot pursuit operation. After that, nagkaroon na ng after a week or siguro mga 6 days after that, nagsimula na yung kaluskos. Nung finally nakausap niya yung mga lawyer na ayaw niyang papasukin nung una at ayaw niyang kausapin, nung finally kinuha niya yung abogado na pumunta ron, nagsimula na yung mga offer na bigyan ng pera itong mga ibang akusado. At i-offer sila ng malalaking amount ng pera amounting to, according to the intel report, 8 million pesos each.
Remulla added the money is from a wealthy moneyed source who has something at stake in the murder cases of Degamo and some civilians. Meanwhile, former DOJ Undersecretary Attorney Renante Orseo, lawyer of Marvin Miranda, denied that he offered 8 million pesos to the accused to recant their affidavits. The information received by Secretary Remulla is allegedly purely hearsay. Attorney Danny Villanueva, counsel for the 5 accused, said he has no information about the accusation.
I am completely clueless about this allegation. I have no information about this. Sa tingin ko po, napaka-imposible hong mangyari yan, given that all the accused are presently inside the detention cell of NBI.
Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
For our news abroad. As the unrest between Serbia and Kosovo continues and international pressure for resolution mounts, the presidents of both countries clashed during their attendance at a European summit. Jane Robles tells us why live. Good evening, Jane.
Good evening, Marvy. During the summit in Moldova yesterday, June 1, where more than 40 European leaders were in attendance, Kosovo's Vjosa Osmani accused Serbia's Aleksandar Vučić for the clashes caused by criminal gangs. These clashes resulted in the injury of 30 NATO peacekeeping troops and 52 Serbian protesters in northern Kosovo. Serbia has denied these claims and called for the withdrawal of ethnic Albanian mayors from their offices and special police units that they deemed illegal in the area. Vučić added that Serbia is actively working to defuse the violent crisis and persuade Serbs to conduct protests peacefully. Ethnic Serbs in North Kosovo have been urging for the implementation of a deal brokered by the European Union back in 2013, which would allow for the creation of autonomous municipalities. However, both parties have failed to come to an agreement thus far. Osmani said that the issue lies in Serbia's denial of Kosovo's 2008 declaration of independence as a sovereign state. Meanwhile, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, has sent an additional 700 peacekeepers to Kosovo, and the alliance's Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has expressed readiness to deploy more if needed. Back to you, Marvy.
Thank you, Jane Robles, for that live report. As the World Health Organization, or WHO, marked World No Tobacco Day on June 1, Sweden has declared itself to become the first European country to be smoke-free. Smoke-free is defined as having less than 5% daily smokers in the population, and Sweden is within reach of this milestone after achieving 5.6% last year, according to figures from the Public Health Agency of Sweden. This percentage is also significantly below the average of 18.5% reported by the Eurostat Statistics Agency for the 27-nation bloc. Experts attribute Sweden's success to public campaigns that have allowed Swedes, including younger generations, to be more health conscious and have a greater understanding of the risks associated with smoking. Additionally, others highlight the prevalent use of snus, a smokeless tobacco product that is banned in other EU countries but is promoted in Sweden as a cigarette alternative. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to Harleen.
Thank you, Marvi. For those watching on live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. The Philippine National Railways has announced that it will suspend trips between Calamba, Laguna and Alabang, Muntinlupa City for 5 years, beginning on July 2. This suspension is to make way for the construction of the North-South commuter railway system. Meanwhile, the Department of Transportation is currently in communication with the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board to arrange alternative transportation options for the affected passengers. Janice and Henta will tell us why.
In a bid to fast-track the completion of the 147-kilometer North-South Commuter Railway, or NSCR system, additional trips of the Philippine National Railways, or PNR, will be temporarily suspended starting July 2 this year to make way for the construction of the said project. The Department of Transportation, or DOTR, Undersecretary for Railways Cesar Chavez stated that 2 daily trips of the PNR Alabang to Calamba route will halt for 5 years. Each trip carries around 467 commuters every day.
So July 2, start operation na Alabang to Calamba, sapagkat magsisimula na ang phasing natin, magsisimula na baklasin ang mga riles na ito. Hindi masyadong problemado tayo dito sa Calamba to Alabang sapagkat ang pasahero dito ay kukunti lang kumpara sa Alabang to Calamba.
Yusek Chavez mentioned that an elevated double track and electrified train system will be built directly above the existing PNR tracks, replacing the current street level, single track and diesel locomotive setup.
Kung mapapansin ho ninyo, mula Alabang, mula Calamba hanggang Alabang, alas 10 minutes ang pagitan ng biyahe. Sapagkat diesel locomotive, hindi electrified, single track, at lumang tren. Ang itatayo po natin ay standard gauge. Noong 2016, standard gauge na ho tayo at hindi na katulad nito. Sapagkat dapat standard gauge, hindi katulad ngayon ang riles ay narrow gauge. Therefore, lahat ng trucks ay kailangang alisin na, mapaklasin na.
Meanwhile, the DOTR is now in communication with the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, to explore possible alternative transportation for the passengers affected by the suspension.
Pakikiusap namin na magkaroon ng special permit, jeep lang para may access lang sila dito sa Kabuyaw, sa Calamba. Ang usapan natin with the LTFRB, yung mga area, halimbawa ng Mamati, kinakailangan na magkaroon ng additional permit para sa jeep sapagkat mas malayo sila sa bus. Otherwise, mula Calamba, Kabuyaw, Binyan, San Pedro, 2 istasyon, Muntinlupa, may 2 istasyon, are all accessible ng jeepney at ng bus.
The DOTR stated that the 147-kilometer NSCR system will traverse from Clark, Pampanga to Calamba, Laguna, linking the Greater Manila area to neighboring provinces once completed. Janice and Hente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Energy, or DOE, announced the completion of 2 liquefied natural gas, or LNG, facilities in the country that will enable the importation of LNG to support the continuous fuel supply of gas-fired power plants. According to the agency, the first importation of LNG has been completed and is now supplying natural gas to Ilihan Natural Gas Power Plant, and it enables the facility to provide power to the grid areas since yesterday, June 1. These developments also indicate the private sector's interest in investing critical infrastructures that will allow the country to import and use imported LNG and complement the available gas to meet the growing energy demand. The entry of LNG as a new type of fuel into the energy mix increases diversity of the country's energy needs. The DOE added that this would help improve the energy supply in Luzon grid areas, especially in the upcoming months. A travel consultancy agency in Quezon City has been closed by the Department of Migrant Workers for reported illegal recruitment. Bernadette Tinoy will tell us why.
The Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, closed a travel consultancy agency in Quezon City after discovering its illegal recruitment activities.
Based sa aming surveillance, nakita namin na nag-recruit siya ng mga workers papuntang Poland and Malta as hotel worker, yung naglilinis, yung cleaner, and then nagre-recruit din siya ng mga waiter and waitresses.
Attorney Geraldine Mendez, the director of the Migrant Workers Protection Bureau, stated that one applicant from OVM Visa Assistance and Travel Consultancy reported the agency's illegal activities.
They were required to pay 460,000 pesos as processing fee. Pero ang sabi doon, magbabayad muna sila ng down payment of 60,000. Once na ma-issue yung visa, 100, hanggang sa mabuo na yung 460,000.
Migrant Secretary Susan Ocle mentioned that the agency was not listed as a licensed agency in the country. She added that the DMW would assist the victims in filing their cases against OVM.
Nagbayad o dumaan sa OVM, Visa Assistance and Travel Company, to come forward para samahan kami pag-file ng case ng illegal recruitment dahil kung 3 at mahigit ang biktima, part siya ng economic sabotage na sinasabi at life imprisonment ang katapat doon sa may-ari.
If proven guilty of illegal recruitment, the owner of OVM Visa Assistance could face a case of life imprisonment. Bernadette Pinoy, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Animal Industry, or DA-BAI, has recommended to the Food and Drug Administration the issuance of a certificate of product registration for an African swine fever, or ASF, vaccine. This recommendation follows the successful safety and efficacy trial of the vaccine from Vietnam. Dr. Anin Vitiaco, Assistant Director of BAI, stated that the efficacy trial took place in 6 farms in Luzon. 100% of the vaccinated hogs produced antibodies, indicating that they will be protected against ASF. BAI stressed the urgency of issuing the certificate of product registration to facilitate the importation of the vaccine.
So kailangan may CPR para maibigay yung 600,000 na yan sa Philippines. Otherwise, may mga nakaabang na ibang country.
Meanwhile, groups of hog raisers asked the government to allot subsidy for the purchase of ASF vaccine.
Daily Russian missile strikes aimed in Ukraine continue to occur, resulting in a higher number of casualties and injuries this time. Charisse Dongboen will tell us why.
Recent attacks on Kyiv have resulted in the nation suffering more deaths, with 3 people losing their lives, including 1 child, and approximately 11 people being injured after Russia deployed missiles. According to Kyiv officials, Russia deployed 10 missiles with little warning, resulting in impacts on apartment residences, schools, and a clinic for children. The damage was concentrated in the eastern district of Kyiv and was mainly caused by metal debris from intercepted missiles by air defenses. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky addressed the nation, condemning the negligence of those responsible for the death of a woman who was locked out of a shelter.
Не має повторитись ситуація, як цієї ночі у Києві, коли люди прийшли в укриття, а укриття зачинене. Це обов'язок представників місцевої влади, дуже конкретний обов'язок забезпечити наявність і доступність укриттів цілодобово. Боляче бачите, недбале ставлення до цього.
Meanwhile, Russia claims to have driven the rebels away, but a rebel group that entered the border of Russia caused an attack in the town of Shebekino, warning civilians that they are not the target. Cherise Longbowen, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Following the two-day North Atlantic Treaty Organization or NATO meeting held in Solo, the United States has announced that it will reopen its American presence through a diplomatic station in Tromsø, Norway, 29 years after its last presence. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken confirmed that this decision aims to increase engagement and diplomacy in the High North. The announcement came 3 weeks after Norway took over the Arctic Council chairmanship from Russia. The Arctic Council was established in 1996 to protect the Arctic environment and support sustainable development in the region. It has become an area of unique international cooperation between 8 Arctic states, including Canada, the Kingdom of Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway, the Russian Federation, Sweden, and the United States. Since the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Western Arctic cooperation with Moscow has been put on hold. It is expected that the diplomatic station will be staffed by the end of the year. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Marvi Delfin, live from Australia. Good evening.
The first batch of bivalent vaccines to be delivered in the country this month will be given to healthcare workers and senior citizens as the third booster shot. Gladys Tuwabi will tell us why.
The Department of Health has confirmed that donated bivalent vaccines are expected to arrive in the country this month. According to the DOH, these vaccines will be given as a third booster shot to the priority groups, which include healthcare workers and senior citizens.
Of course, yung healthcare workers, ito yung A1, sila ang tumitingin talaga ng ating mga COVID cases, no, and the more severe forms. So sila ay dapat talagang prioritize. And of course, yung A2, kasi sila din ang higher risk or more vulnerable to the more severe form of COVID and of course death. So kagaya nung dati, no, sa mga bakuna, sila rin talaga ang dapat prioritize.
Selected hospitals and health facilities in different areas of the country will be part of the pilot rollout of the bivalent vaccines.
So I believe na ang importante ay maintindihan ng mas marami na kailangan pa rin nating mag-booster.
Meanwhile, vaccine expert Dr. Nina Gloriani assures the public of the safety of the bivalent vaccine and highlights its similar features to monovalent vaccines.
Of course, may konting, hindi ba, aalis natin yung mga konting mga side effects, pero expected yon, pain at the injection site, pwede magka-fever, medyo may flu-like symptoms yung iba, pero konting-konti lang yon. So basically, ang data show na ang safety features ng bivalent ay pareho ng monovalent vaccines.
Gladys Tuwabi, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The rainy season has officially started based on the monitoring conducted by the State Weather Bureau Pag-asa. Based on Pag-asa data, heavy rainfall has been recorded in their stations in western parts of Luzon and Visayas. This is a result of thunderstorms, the southwest monsoon, and the passage of former Super Typhoon Betty within the Philippine area of responsibility. However, Weather Bureau states that there may still be periods of what they call monsoon breaks. This means that there will be several days or weeks without rainfall. In the coming months, the onset of El Nino is expected. Some fishermen in Juan Oriental Mindoro have called on the Department of Social Welfare and Development to expedite the process of cash assistance for the people in order to improve their quality of life. Bernadette Tinoy will tell us why.
The fisher folk appealed to the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, to speed up the process of cash assistance in order to improve the quality of life for the people. Barangay Councilor Marilea Pagkalinawan is the one who has received complaints from fishermen who are experiencing delays in receiving aid.
Mas mahirap po para sa isang mangingisda ang abutin ng gano'n na walang kain sa pag-iintay lamang po ng ayuda, sa pagtanggap lang po ng ayuda ang kanilang ibibigay. Sana naman po ay maging madali ang kanilang proseso. Tsaka ang dami pong hinihingi mga papel.
Councilor Pagkaliwanagan also mentioned in an interview that the salaries of workers under the Cash for Work program of DSWD have been delayed for 15 days. The councilor mentioned that fishermen in their barangay still do not have stable jobs due to the oil spill.
Ay wala pa ngayong pinagkakakitaan kasi nga ang main source lang ng yung pag-iisla, di walang pinagkakakitaan.
According to the statement of DSWD Assistant Secretary Marlon A. Alagaw, during the meeting held yesterday at the Office of the Civil Defense in Quezon City, they have plans to provide oil subsidy for the affected fisher folks in Mindoro Province.
We're also in the plan of oil subsidy, providing 127 million oil subsidy for the motorized and non-motorized bangka owners.
ASEC Alagaw further stated that the continuous distribution of cash for work, food and non-food item deliveries, and emergency cash transfer for Mimaropa depends on the advice of the local government unit. Currently, they have rolled out 697 million worth of subsidies and administrative costs provided and expended by the Department for Region 4A, 4B, and Region 6 for oil spill response augmentation. Meanwhile, according to the Philippine Coast Guard, fishing is now allowed in the oil spill affected areas except for the municipalities of Pola, Nauban, and Pinamalayan because of oil contaminants are still high in those areas. Bernadette Tinoy, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Our kasangbahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic and various challenges and uncertainties, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 28, it says, "So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself." And those are the reasons behind the news, June 2, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. Because we need to know. We will always ask why. I am Hardin Delgado. We serve the people. We give glory to God.